All right, I think we're ready to get started for the deep dive this morning. I want to say welcome to everybody joining. It's Monday, April 24th, last deep dive of April. Before we get started, is that right? I need to check my calendar to make sure of that. But welcome to everybody joining. We're going to get started here in just a minute. As always, let us know where you're watching from. It's so good to see people from all over the country that join the deep dive to get their week started talking about the most important topics in real estate. We're going to do that this morning. Last week I was on with KCM's chief economist, George Ratu. That was a great session. If you missed that deep dive, you can go back and watch that. Go check that out. George really unpacked unemployment and some of the economic factors that are driving supply and demand in the market. So if you missed that, go and check that out. I'll follow along. Let us know where you are watching from. It's always so good to see everybody that joins. See you there, Angela in Frederick, Maryland. Great to have you this morning. So many people joining right now. This morning I'm going to change what we were going to do. I was going to talk about recession this morning. Maybe we'll do that next week. But I wanted to cover some of the foreclosure information coming out. A lot of headlines about foreclosure in the last week or so, and we're going to talk about those this morning, really give you the facts there. So, as we get started this morning, I think this topic of looking at headlines and then really understanding what's happening is what we need to do right now, because there's so many things happening in the economy that maybe people are running with and writing a headline that does more to terrify than to clarify what's going on. We've always said that. But we're going to talk about foreclosures this morning. Originally, I was going to talk about the recession, but our KCM research team came up with some great information on this topic. So I made a switch, and I want to talk about that this morning. So a foreclosure update. If you see that right there, you're in the right place. And we have this image that says uncover the facts, and certainly the facts are what we need to be concerned with, not the headlines, not the clickbait, not the fear-inducing sort of topic that a lot of times comes up, and where did this come from this past week? It certainly came from a lot of the foreclosure information. Maybe you saw that, people sharing that, or maybe a news report. And, Adam Data came out and said U.S. foreclosure activity climbs in the first quarter of this year. It's this hot news topic. And, when things come out like that are factually correct, they're often taken and ran with in the media. And then these headlines start to form, like more Americans are losing their homes to foreclosures on U.S. properties. Foreclosures are on the rise. You see this particularly in Illinois, Delaware, and New Jersey. U.S. foreclosure filings jumped 22%, and repossessions hit their highest level in 3 years. And foreclosures jump. So this wave of sort of headlines that is produced from this report from Adam, our job today, and as always, is to have the information, have the facts, so that we can lead our clients through this. Because if you see an article like this, or you see a headline like this, and then you say, why would we want to buy right now, given that? Certainly doesn't sound good. So it's our job to be the knowledge broker in the market right now. If I were to kind of back up and set the table, so to speak, in foreclosures, over the last 3 years, there have been over 1 million fewer foreclosure filings in this country. We always say if we want to go back to any normal years in real estate, we need to look at 2017, 2018, and 2019. And these numbers go all the way back to 2017, U.S. properties with foreclosure filings. And see that number starting to come down in 2017, 2018, and 2019, and hit these lows in 2020, the year of COVID, when there's a moratorium, bottom out in 2021 and start to come back last year. But no doubt, if we look at the average of 2017, 2018, just almost 600,000 foreclosures each one of those years in this country. And, in 2020, 214,000, 2021, 151,000, and 324,000 in 2022. So where are we at right now? One thing I would offer, and it's a great image that the research team picked up, is they didn't look at this. This is going all the way back to 2005 in the numbers of U.S. properties with foreclosure filings. And if you can see my mouse, we're right here in 2023. So you take a report that comes out like this from Adam, that foreclosures are rising and sort of, this feeling that they're skyrocketing, and this is the reality. This is a graphic that I would have on my phone, on a tablet, maybe something printed out that I could show people when this question comes up. Because as people read the headlines, they see that. Our job is to then inform them. So what are the facts? Let's go through the facts real quick. First, a total of just over 95,000 U.S. properties with a foreclosure filing during the first quarter of 2023. There's a total of 65,000 U.S. properties that started the foreclosure process in the first quarter of this year. Nationwide, that means one in every 1,459 housing units had a foreclosure filing in Q1 of 2023. And lenders repossessed about 12,500 U.S. properties through foreclosure, REO properties, in Q1 of 2023. Those are the facts. If you start to look at this graphically, you see what this looks like over time. And this is U.S. properties with a foreclosure filing going all the way back to 2005. And you see the run up during the crisis, the housing crisis of 2008. And we've come down just about every year since then, with the things bottoming out during COVID with the moratorium and coming back up. But still, even in 2022, fewer foreclosures than 2019. Now, as we go forward, I want to give you a little bit of perspective from Adam data and sort of where do we position our thoughts as we respond to this to people in the market. First one from Adam: despite efforts made by government agencies and policymakers to try and reduce foreclosure rates, we are seeing an upward trend in foreclosure activity. This unfortunate trend can be attributed to a variety of factors, such as rising unemployment rates, foreclosure filings making their way through the pipeline after 2 years of government interventions, and other ongoing economic challenges. So what's he saying there? Certainly there are things in the economy that are impacting this, and certainly foreclosures are working their way through the system over the last couple of years. Okay, so I think it's important to remember that. This quote from Realtor.com: there's no reason to panic, not at least yet. Foreclosure filings began ticking up in late 2021 after the federal foreclosure moratorium ended. The moratorium was enacted in the early days of COVID-19, when millions of Americans lost their jobs, to prevent a tsunami of homeowners losing their properties. So we know all about that in everything that was done to aid homeowners, and done very, very well. And now we're on the other side of that. We're seeing some of that, as Adam Data said, work through the system. But when you look at things historically, still well below where we've been in the past. It's our job to have the facts, to have the information, so that we can simplify things for folks that we're working with and help them make the best decisions for them and their families as they're looking to buy a home, as they're looking to transact and do something. So my goal and our goal at KCM with the deep dive and everything we do is that you can be the expert in your marketplace. That's why we exist, to give you the information you need to be the expert. If you missed it last week, there's still an opportunity to go in and grab our newest e-guide, the 3 simple steps to drive more business. Go to trykcm.com/steps now, and you can grab that. All about how do you have conversations, how do you engage people in this market, and really be the knowledge broker, be the expert to those clients that you serve. So, well, if you do have questions, you can send those to us. Even after last week, I believe Jim sent a question in. It's David at Keeping Current Matters. You can always reach out if you do have a question about something we covered on the deep dive. We'll be back again next week, and I look forward to seeing you then. Take care.